And welcome back, Interior Alaska. Mike Fussell here with your latest local action. There were a lot of Interior athletes in motion this week, and runners kicked it all off this morning at UAF for the 53rd annual Equinox Marathon. The 26.2-mile race started at the Patty Center, looped out to the steep hills of Esther Dome, and came back to finish right where it all began. An ultra-marathon as well as a shorter race for kids added to the excitement. Race organizers dubbed the terrain as one of the toughest marathons to compete in, but Matthias Sari, who finished on top overall, came across the line still pushing hard with a time of 2 hours, 52 minutes, and 25 seconds. That is his 5th Equinox championship, and he is the race's oldest winner. And Erica Burr, she took the gold medal in the women's division at 3 hours, 24 minutes, and 32 seconds. Equinox Marathon champion Matthias Sari says that this race was different than Equinoxes of the past.
It's the first time I've had to come from behind to win, so it's special to be able to do that and keep the faith. Other times when I've won, I've either been off the front or running together and then pulled away. So it's a real head game though when you're trailing, because yeah, you just don't know if you're going to be able to make up that gap.
And on the gridiron, the number 5 ranked Eielson Ravens hosted the number 2 Nikiski Bulldogs at Buck Nystrom Field earlier today. Both teams went into the matchup 4-1, with the Ravens coming off of a loss to Lathrop last weekend, the first defeat they faced in a long time. Both teams met up in the state championship game last year as well, making the game all the more interesting. Caleb Dunlap put up big numbers for the Ravens in the first half. He had 9 carries for 88 yards with a touchdown. That would put Eielson up 14-7 at the half. Dunlap would continue producing but leave the game with an injury in the third quarter. But Andrew North would pick up right where he left off thanks to a solid performance by the Ravens' offensive line. Eielson wins it 34-7. The Ravens are now at the front of the pack to receive one of the top seeds in the small school state playoffs.
No, I forgot about the past. I was focused on right now and what we're doing right now. The past is the past. You can't live on that. They pushed hard. They were a great team, but I want to be able to stop them again. I have to learn their weaknesses again and just penetrate.
And there was another important football game in the interior. It involved the Colony Knights and the West Valley Wolfpack. Our very own Joe Cook was there on Friday night, and he has more.
It was a pivotal Rail Belt Conference tilt on Friday night at West Valley Stadium. The Wolfpack hosting the Colony Knights for homecoming. The fans were excited for this one. If you love defense, this game is for you. The Knights scored on the opening drive of the game as Stephen Bellafor finds Jake Hetzinger on a seam route for a 28-yard touchdown pass. Colony would lead 7-0 after the first quarter. The Wolfpack were in the Knights' red zone to start the second quarter, but Zach Lester is picked off by Jordan Nero, stopping that drive. That was one of his 2 interceptions on the night. After a missed field goal by the Knights, the Wolfpack almost completed a 98-yard drive, but ran out of time, and the Knights led 7-0 at the half. The offense has struggled as players on both teams made play after play on the defensive end. Elijah Blackweasel got a huge sack on 3rd down and gave the ball back to the West Valley offense in the 4th quarter. The Wolfpack drive down the field with Lester breaking a big 40-yard run. West Valley had a 4th and 7 at the Colony 8 with 5 minutes to go, but Lester's pass to Brandon Jones is ruled incomplete. However, the defense of West Valley answered the call once again on the Knights' next possession. Colony coughs it up, and the Wolfpack recover. West Valley ball with 1:35 left as the homecoming crowd can feel the comeback. But the Wolfpack had a number of promising drives negated by penalties, and their last drive suffered the same fate. 4th and 20 after a delay of game and holding penalties, and Lester's deep pass to Jones is incomplete. No defensive penalty called on the play, and Colony holds on for a 7-0 win and clinched the regular season Rail Belt title.
Just hard. Everything was hard tonight. Everything was hard. We played hard, got stops when we needed them, just made key plays. That's what we did.
The Wolfpack are still in the playoff hunt and will play Lathrop in the Dog Bowl in the season finale for their last Rail Belt game. Coach Allison knows his team will have to correct some things from now until then.
In close games like this, we can't have the mental mistakes like we did tonight. We can't have those errors. We can't have those omissions that happen. When games start getting tight and the seconds keep ticking off the clock, you know, kids start getting antsy, and we got to make sure as a coaching staff that we settle people down. You don't learn a lot when you win, but you learn a lot about yourself when you lose, and I think all the kids really accepted that, and they understand just a couple mental mistakes was what were the drive killers. You know, defense stepped up tonight and played amazing. We played against an amazing team also, so it was just a great football game tonight for Alaska.
And the Fairbanks Ice Dogs tasted some revenge on Friday night with a 6-2 victory over the NAHL champs in Cloquet, Minnesota. The Ice Dogs never trailed in the game, where they scored in the first 28 seconds. Fairbanks pulled away with a 4-goal, second period, after it was tied 1-1 at the end of the first. Todd Burgess and Liam Sturtzinger led the Dogs with 2 goals. Burgess netted the first power play goal of the season for Fairbanks as well. Clay Cross and Logan Coombs also had 2-point nights. Andrew Lindgren made 21 saves in the net as the Ice Dogs improved to 3-0. They'll look for the series sweep tonight. And that about brings us to the buzzer for sports tonight. Don't forget to log on to Twitter and follow us at KTVF11 Sports for our latest updates. Katie Looper has your full weather forecast coming up next. Thanks for checking in, and we'll see you next weekend.